Hey everyone, Mah-Dry-Bread here. Pokemon X with only Archon was a surprisingly fast solo run. Let's follow that up with a fun team run. Today's the day that we figure out would I be able to beat Pokemon X with a team of only gift Pokemon. Alright, so we're using the gift Pokemon list from Bulbapedia for this. That means that we get to use our starter, the first gen starter you get after the first gym, the fossil Pokemon that we get shortly before the second gym, and both the Lucario and Lapras that you get right after the third gym. That actually gives us a pretty strong 5 Pokemon team, and we get everyone really early in the run, so this might be a pretty fun one. Like always, I'm writing the script as I go through the challenge, so all this part is being written before I've started. Everyone comment down below and guess if I can win or not. I figure that we'll win for sure. This is all about seeing how good the team is. This is also my first team run in Pokemon X, where I have a nearly full team, so I'm excited to see how that goes. Also, this run was picked by you guys on Patreon. This run destroyed all the other options in the poll, so I thought that I'd do it right away. I hope you enjoy. Let's explain the rules. In combat, I can only use gift Pokemon. I'll need other Pokemon to use HMs, but I won't be allowed to use any of those Pokemon in battle. No glitches or exploits, no items in battle, only Pokeballs, held items, and items outside of combat are allowed. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let's do this. No need for the randomizer today, since we're actually using a normal starter for once. I decided to go with Fennekin. We lucked out, and I only had to restart once to get a good nature. We got Modest, so more special attack, less physical attack. It's gonna help us a lot. Alright, so the early game travel is going fine. We're using a normal starter, so of course it's gonna go fine. Right now, I just want to speed through the early part so that we can get most of our team. We just have an easy bug gym, followed by a fight with Sycamore that probably won't be hard, but could be if he fights smart. Then we get our second Pokemon, and I'm really excited for it. Well, that's a first. We actually fainted in the bug gym. It was because Surskit is first, and it's actually got a water move, so we're taking a lot of damage. Between that and her using a potion, we were one hit away from beating the gym. Okay, I'm just gonna go get a few levels. There's no way this takes long. Alright, 2 levels later, and we evolved and then totally mopped the floor with her team. I figured it wouldn't take long. And of course, Sycamore's whole team was easy. Squirtle didn't even try and hurt us for some reason. Anyway, that got us our next starter, so I went with Bulbasaur. Partly because we're already getting a water type later, partly because having a poison type would help against fairies, and partly because it's my all-time favorite starter. In fact, I have a little video in the playlist section on my channel right now that you can watch early, the thumbnail's not even done for it or anything, where I talk about my personal opinion of every single Pokemon in all of Gen 1, and I plan on doing every generation one day. At the time I'm doing this voiceover, the video isn't public yet, but you can literally click on my playlist section on my channel right now and just watch it anyway. It's right there. Anyway, now I need to level this thing up right away because I have to travel to the rock gym and it's quite a trip. On my way there, I took the jaw fossil. I knew that if I didn't say what I took, you'd all ask. Actually, now that I think about it, everyone ask anyway. Comes are good for the YouTube algorithm. And I took that jaw fossil right to the Pokemon lab to turn it into Tyrant. I love this Pokemon so much. I used it back in my first time ever playing Pokemon X, and it was awesome. I recorded my first time ever playing Pokemon X, by the way. You can watch me and my friends playing it over on the Pokemon X A Journey playlist in the description of the video. Anyway, our Tyrant has extra speed and less special attack. I figure it's a pretty good nature. Not only does Tyrant get a lot of attack, but its ability gets more power out of biting moves. I figure this is going to be our sweeper for a lot of the run. Now let's hope that the rock gym isn't hard for once. Well, Amora paralyzed Braixen, took us out pretty fast, then swept Tyrant and Ivysaur. Is it pronounced Braixen? How do you pronounce a name like that? I know we're a lower level, but why is the Gen 6 rock gym always a brick wall for me? I'll go level up a little bit on the northern route. So I grinded to get the team about 5 levels higher and came back. This time we have Dragon Tail, so I used it to force them to switch to Tyrant early, then I just took Tyrant out with a few hits. We were paralyzed from the start of the fight, so we didn't last long when Amora came back out, but then Braixen was able to pretty quickly take it out in a few hits. It wasn't so bad. We only have a few more fights until we get to the rest of our team. We have the fight with our rival at the Tower of Mastery, then we have an easy fight at the Flying Gym. That's all that's between us and 2 new Pokemon. Then after that is our rival again, and the Grass Gym. I figure the rival fight will be even easier since she only levels up a few times and we get 2 new Pokemon. Plus, I can't see the Grass Gym being hard since we have a strong Fire type. Really, I'm not all that worried about the rest of the gyms in general, but you never know. Personally, I'm hoping for an easy time until Lysandre. So first for our rival is Meowstic, but we just bite it down in one hit. And second is Absol, so I use Bite and Strength to overpower it. Our Rocky Helmet helped us with the damage too. Frogadier was last, so I just had Ivysaur take it out in a couple of hits of Razor Leaf. That was easy, but I do kind of worry that she could be pretty hard later on when she gets ice moves. At least I'm pretty sure I'm remembering right that Greninja has ice moves. I think it gets Ice Beam near the end. The fighting gym right after was super easy now that we have a proper Psychic type on the team. Hey, it's time to go fill out our team with the last 2 members. Alright, time for the last 2 Pokemon. First, we get Lucario from the Mega Evolution tutorial. I guess that means I'm able to use Mega Evolutions if I want to, but I don't know. I kind of feel like it would make the run too easy, you know? Not that this is the hardest run idea in the first place, but I kind of want to see if I can do it without Mega Evolving. Regardless, Lucario is a really solid Pokemon, so I have high hopes for it. And then right after that, on our way out of town, we're just handed a Lapras. I actually take this Lapras on every one of these runs, because I like using it for Surf and Waterfall, but this time, we can actually use it in combat. It has preset IVs that are pretty decent overall, so it's never going to be a dud, and it's always going to have quite a bit of health. Lapras is just a great Pokemon in general, and it's something that's really good with both water and ice moves, so it really helps us fill out the type coverage on our team. Now let's go fight our rival and the Grass Gym. Yeah, the next rival went pretty much exactly the same as last time. She got luckier with me missing a 95 accuracy Razor Leaf, but she didn't really do much damage as I missed, so everything was fine. And of course, the Grass Gym right after was super easy. We have the Fire Starter. Of course the Grass Gym was going to be pretty easy. Well, that means we have another 3 major fights coming up, and these might be harder. We have the Electric Gym, our rival again, and the Fairy Gym. I figure that I'm going to want to learn Dig to help deal with the Electric Gym, although it won't really help with Emolga. I might just brute force that one with some of the rest of our team. Then we have our rival, and I seem to remember that she gets a bit more difficult around either the Fairy Gym or the Psychic Gym. Probably the Psychic Gym, now that I think about it. This next one might not be too bad. Then it's the Fairy Gym, and although I usually have an easy time with it, our starter is Psychic type. Maybe Venusaur will be more helpful, although we don't really have any good poison attacking moves yet. I can't get my hands on the Sludge Bomb TM for quite a while, so I think we're gonna have to just try the fight and see how it goes. So the Electric Gym was actually really easy. Emolga was a one-shot with Flamethrower, Magneton used a million Hyper Potions, but we spammed Flamethrower and he was surviving with Sturdy, so he only ever got to do one move. And Heliolisk at the end was just a one-shot. Easy as could be. Next is the rival fight, and the only reason it didn't go the exact same way as last time is because of Light Screen making them take more hits. We still hardly got hurt, so it was fine. Well, this isn't exactly how I thought it was gonna go. We ended up beating the entire Fairy Gym just by spamming Flamethrower. I mean, I knew that it was gonna work against Mawile, but I just kept using Flamethrower to see what would happen, and we ended up winning. Once again, another easy Fairy Gym fight. It's funny, I find a lot of the gyms in Gen 6 are really not that bad, either than the Rock Gym. The Rock Gym is always just brutal. Well, we've got a lot of fights coming up that I think might actually be hard. We have the first rival fight that tends to be hard, a Psychic Gym that I think will be easy, then we have 3 fights against Lysandre in a row. I figure the first Lysandre fight might be easy, but he's usually pretty difficult by the last one. Water Onix might be a problem, but I guess I have the TM for Thunderbolt now, so maybe I should teach that to someone on my team before I get to the final Lysandre fight. I think Lapras is my only one that can learn it. Overall though, I'm not super worried. The Experience All has done a pretty great job of making the whole team usable. I think I'm going to have to do more of these gimmick team runs in Gen 6, it just seems like a really good generation for it. Alright, let's see how these fights go. First is our rival, we ended up fighting in the Hail. Tyrant takes out Meowstic fast, but not until after we lose half of our health. I wish it would evolve already, but that only happens if I level it up early in the morning, and I'm pretty nocturnal right now. Anyway, Greninja goes down easily to Venusaur, and next is Flareon, who actually really hurts Lapras, thanks to a crit before we take it out. Last is Absol, so I just hit a couple flamethrowers with Delphox for a pretty easy win. Next is the Psychic Gym, and it starts weird with us freezing Sigalith. It instantly thaws to hit us, then we take it out. Second is Slowking, so I had Venusaur use Petal Dance for a really easy one-shot. Last is Meowstic, so I sent in Tyrant and bit it down easily. Time for the boss rush with Lysandre. So first is Mindfu, who's a one-shot with Psychic, and second is Water Onix, and I didn't have a great answer. Tyrant ended up dropping to 1 health off a single hit, we did some damage, then we went down. Venusaur was able to take it out thanks to Petal Dance, and Water Onix hitting himself in confusion after Outrage. Pyroar is next, and it did some solid damage with a couple of Fire Blasts, but we took it out with 2 hits of Surf. And last is his Murkrow, so I sent in Lucario to overpower it in a couple of hits. It wasn't a hard fight, but we didn't have any great answers for some of his team. I should for sure learn Thunderbolt before the next Lysandre fight. After a bit, I get to the next Lysandre fight. Mind Chow is a one-shot with Psychic, and next is Water Onix, so I have Lapras use Thunderbolt a couple of times to take it out. But it almost wasn't a 2-shot, and we took massive damage, so I don't know if that's going to work in the next fight. Pyroar is next, and it took out Lapras, but Tyrant is finally evolved, so I was able to overpower it with Earthquake. We still got close to fainting though. Last is Honchkrow, and we were just hardly able to get a 2-shot thanks to our Rocky Helmet doing extra damage. We won, but I kinda think that we might not win the next Lysandre fight. I'm gonna have to be really careful. Time for the last Lysandre fight. Mindchow is of course a one-shot again, but this time Pyroar is a problem. Lapras takes it out thanks to a critical Surf, and we lost half of our health right away to a Fire Blast. Next is Honchkrow, and we ended up critting a Thunderbolt for great damage, but we went down to some Night Slashes quickly, so I had to send in Tyrantrum to finish it with Strength. Last is Water Onix, and I sent in Venusaur knowing he was gonna go Mega Evolve. We missed the first Sleep Powder and almost fainted to Outrage, but our second one hit. We then seeded him, and hit a huge Petal Dance. Between that and the seed damage, we actually won on the first try. Okay, with that done, we have to go fight Sycamore, the boss rush with our friends, then the Ice Gym. I think that all of that is gonna be pretty easy. Maybe Sycamore could take out some of our Pokemon, but outside of that, I don't see us having any serious problems until the rival fight at Victory Road. That one's always hard. I think I want to pick up the TM for Sludge Bomb on my way. I figure that having it on Venusaur is going to be a lot more useful than Razor Leaf. So let's see. Never mind about Sycamore being able to make any of our team faint. Total cakewalk. They're mostly just one-shots. How much you want to bet not a single one of our friends can make a single one of our Pokemon faint? I could see maybe one fainting, but I could also see this being a borderline one-shot sweep, so it wouldn't surprise me either way. Make your guesses though, I'm curious as to what you think. Yeah, that's what I thought. They didn't get a single member of our team to faint. I guess that Regigigas solo run I did is really the only time these guys are difficult. Maybe I need to do a solo X run with something a lot weaker. After all of that was the Ice Gym, and it was really easy. We got awful confusion luck at the end, but Flamethrower was still just one-shotting them. So once again, we had an easy time at the Ice Gym. Alright, all that's between us and the end of the game is Victory Road. We've got the rival fight midway through that tends to be pretty difficult, then we've got the Elite Four and the Pokemon Champion. I figured that we could actually end up failing this rival fight, but I don't think we're going to need to grind or anything. I figure that maybe we're going to have to try it a few times and figure out how to do it. As for the Elite Four, maybe it won't be too bad, but we're also a little under-leveled, so I could see that being its own problem. Mostly, I'm worried about the Water Trainer, since that seems to be the one I'm most likely to have issues with in a lot of these challenge runs. Let's fight our rival and just see how it goes. First is Meowstic, so we have Tyrantrum bite it to take it out in one hit, and second is Greninja, so I switched to Venusaur. We took big damage from an Ice Beam, but we one-shot him in return with Petal Dance. Next is Flareon, so I sent in Lapras. It hardly did anything to us as we took it out, although it burned us on a second hit. Altaria is next, and I had to keep Lapras in for Ice Beam. We actually got kinda close to fainting. Back to Tyrantrum to deal with Absol, and although Night Slash took us to low health, we still just got a 2-shot for the win. That wasn't so bad. Now that we're at the Elite Four, let's take a look at our stats. Well, I like our team, and I want to say that the Elite Four won't be too bad, but some of our team is actually quite a bit lower leveled than them. Like, is Lapras going to be able to do well against Malva if it's only level 54? I'm not sure. This might take a few levels before we can win, but I'm sure that we can win. Make your final guesses on if we can win this or not. Let's do this. First is Fire Trainer Malva. First is her Pyroar, so I just had Tyrantrum Earthquake it down in a few hits, while it was doing almost nothing to us. For Torkoal, I sent in Lapras. We lost half of our health to a Stone Edge, but we got her to waste a full restore, then got our 2-shot. Talonflame hit us with a huge Flare Blitz as we were hitting Surf. We actually ended up fainting after she healed and hit us again, so I had to send in Delphox to finish it off with Psychic. Chandelure is last, so I sent in Tyrantrum to just end up getting confused, hitting ourselves, then we got taken out with Shadow Ball fast. I sent in Lucario, and Dig did great damage, but one Flamethrower took us out. Back to Delphox, and we landed our last hit. That was a win, but man, a lot of our team fainted. Second is Water Trainer Cybold. First is Clydeser, who is just a one-shot from Venusaur, and I stayed in to keep using Petal Dance as Starmie came in. Problem is, he was using Light Screen, so we didn't get our one-shot. We ended up taking a hit before we took him out. I switched to Delphox as Water Onix came out, mostly so I could spam Psychic and just waste time until the Light Screen is done. We ended up fainting fast, and he got a Dragon Dance in. Out to Lapras for Thunderbolt, and he used more Dragon Dances before I took a huge hit, then took him out. Barbarnacle is last, so I sent Venusaur back in and got our one-shot. This actually took 2 tries because of bad Light Screen and Water Onix timing, but it wasn't too horrible once I figured it out. Third is Steel Trainer Wickstrom. Right away, Klefki used Spikes as we used Sleep Powder since I forgot I had Venusaur out. I switched to Delphox while Klefki was asleep to easily one-shot it with Flamethrower. Probopass is next, so I switched back to Venusaur to Petal Dance for passable damage. He was using a Flash Cannon on us and healed up, but we became confused and hit ourselves. We did great damage, but we fainted, and Delphox ended up finishing it off. Scizor was of course a one-shot with Flamethrower, and last is Aegislash, who takes a big hit, finishes us off with Shadow Claw, then we send in Tyrantrum to Earthquake for the one-shot. Hey, not a bad first try. Fourth is Dragon Trainer Drasna. Right away, Dig does great damage to Dragalg, and we take it out in 2 hits without getting hurt much. Out to Lapras as her Noivern comes out, and we end up taking a weak Dragon Pulse, then we score a one-shot with Ice Beam. Druddigon was nearly a one-shot thanks to a crit, but we fainted, so I had to switch to Tyrantrum. She full restored as we hit an Earthquake for decent damage. We hit her again. She hit a Dragon Tail to force us to switch to Lucario, she healed again, then we hit a few weak moves before we went down to Revenge. Delphox was able to come in and finish Druddigon off. Last is Altaria, and we don't have Lapras anymore, so I started using Psychic and actually got a 2-shot. Another first try, although it was kind of a close one. It wasn't a very clean fight. Finally, the Pokemon champion, Diantha. First is Hwalucha, who is just a one-shot with Psychic, and second is her Tyrantrum. As fun as a mirror match would be, I played it smart and sent in Venusaur instead. Petal Dance was a one-shot, and I doubt I needed the crit. Aurorus was next, but all it used was Light Screen and a full restore, so we 2-shot it with Power-Up Punch. Goodra's next, so I just kept using Power-Up Punch knowing that Light Screen was still up. We ended up fainting instantly to a crit, so I sent in Lapras to try and finish it. Ice Beam really didn't do much at all though. She full restored and she hit us with a huge Focus Blast. We ended up fainting as Light Screen wore off. Out to Delphox, and we were getting hit by Muddy Water, but we scored a big Psychic to finally finish her off. Gorgeist was an easy 2-shot with Bite, and last is Gardevoir, so I ended up staying in to keep biting. Moonblast ended up one-shotting us after a bite though, so I had to send in Delphox to spam Flamethrower. We landed with 3 health, she full restored, then we did exactly enough damage for a 2-shot. That was really close, but we just got another first try win. Once again, really fun Pokemon X team run. I have to say, the experience all is a real game changer in these team runs. It really does make sure that I even get to use the less useful Pokemon, since they never really fall too far behind in levels. I really hope you guys like that run. The next Pokemon challenge should be up next week on Saturday like usual with Pokemon Fire Red with only 1 Torkoal. As always, I'm looking at your suggestions in the comments in the challenge request section of my Discord channel and on Twitter. Subscribe, ring the bell, stay tuned. Outro time? I talked about it a little bit earlier in the video, but that whole me reviewing every single Pokemon from Gen 1 video, go check that out in the playlist section and let me know in the comments on it what you think of it, because I'd really like to do it with every generation. Like, even the generations that I either have barely played or have not played at all, because I still have not played Scarlet or Violet. I meant to when it came out, but that was 2022 when I was having some pretty bad health issues and I couldn't. So I still have never gotten around to it, but I know I want to at some point. So I might end up doing a video going over every Pokemon design, and I won't even know some of them, and you get to see my first reaction. But of course, I start with Gen 1, because why would you not start from the beginning? And of course I know all the Gen 1 Pokemon. I've been playing Pokemon since the week it came out in English. So, I'm well acquainted with all of those. I had a really fun time recording that video. The only reason I haven't made it go public way sooner is because I haven't been able to figure out what to do with the thumbnail. I have no idea what I want to do for the thumbnail for it. You're hearing my voiceover on, I don't know when you're hearing it. I don't remember when this video is going up. I'm recording this voiceover on May 23rd, 2025. At the day that I'm recording this voiceover, I still don't have a good thumbnail idea that I know how to execute or anything. So, once I have the thumbnail figured out, the video will be public. Maybe it'll even be public by the time this video goes up. I have no idea, but regardless of if it's public or not, you can watch it early in the playlist section. You just go to the, reviewing every single Pokemon playlist, which is probably the newest playlist you see on the list. And there you go. That's the video, and you can go enjoy it. And I hope you have a fun time with it, and I hope I see your comments on it, because I really like reading comments. Anyway, you know how I said earlier that I'm a bit nocturnal right now? Well, it's almost 4 p.m., and I'm finishing my voiceover, and I have not yet had breakfast. So I should go figure that out. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.